North Nowra needed a new link to the Princes Highway. They settled on an option which would be the most economically effective, but which would put at risk several communities of rare plants and also habitat for the vulnerable giant burrowing frog. Ms May Leatch challenged the decision, arguing that the fauna impact statement which had been prepared for the project was inadequate. One of the questions which came up at the hearing was whether it would be appropriate or even mandatory for decision makers to consider the precautionary principle in their decision making. The precautionary principle in its modern form was articulated in the 1970s and essentially says that where there is a risk of serious harm to the environment, a lack of full scientific certainty should not be treated as a basis for taking the risk. In other words, the benefit of the doubt should fall against causing the harm. Decision makers are only allowed to consider matters which are relevant and may not consider extraneous matters. So, could they consider the precautionary principle? Justice Stein said, "While there have been express references to what is called the precautionary principle since the 1970s, international endorsement has occurred only in recent years. Indeed, the principle has been referred to in almost every recent international environmental agreement, including the 1992 Convention on Biological Diversity. This latter convention, which Australia has ratified, is of relevance to the present case. It formulates the precautionary principle in the following terms. Where there is a threat of significant reduction or loss of biological diversity, lack of full scientific certainty should not be used as a reason for postponing measures to avoid or minimise such a threat." In my opinion, the precautionary principle is a statement of common sense and has already been applied by decision makers in appropriate circumstances prior to the principle being spelt out. It is directed towards the prevention of serious or irreversible harm to the environment in situations of scientific uncertainty. Its premise is that where uncertainty or ignorance exists concerning the nature or scope of environmental harm, whether this follows from policies, decisions or activities, decision makers should be cautious. Justice Stein declined to impose the precautionary principle as a mandatory consideration, but he made it absolutely clear that it's not irrelevant either. He found that the fauna impact statement was inadequate and the project did not proceed.